With opening statements. Gentlemen, you each get 3 minutes, and we're going to start with you, Mr. Baker, and then when it comes time for the first question, we'll start with you, Mr. Dinkle. So, Mr. Baker? Dunkle, sorry.
Gotta get it right, I'm gonna write it.
Dunkle. D-U-N-K-L-E.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Baker, want to start us off?
I'd like to thank the Beaufort Regional Chamber of Commerce for having me tonight and putting this event on. And I want to say, as Mr. Dunkel says, it's L-U-N-D-Y-B-A-K-E-R, and you must write it in. I'm excited to be here tonight. I've been in the area for 5 years, my wife for 12 years, and I am excited to take another shot at running for an office. I ran for the town of Port Royal last year as a write-in candidate, and at some point I'm going to learn to put my name on the ballot, I promise. I am here at this time. The reason that I decided to run was I found that no one had put their name on for District 4 to become, to be a part of the school board. So after visiting with several folks, I did not want to see that there have to be a special election at a later date and cost the school board $25,000. So that I made the decision that from a fiscal responsibility as a businessman, that this made the most sense to fill the seat, participate in trying to help the school board move forward into the future and be a part of that. My background is business. Diana and I have several businesses downtown. I also work as a contractor for with Lanier Parking and manage the parking, and please don't hold that against me. I also am attending South Carolina Leadership this year, and our focus in that group with the 50 people selected from across the state is the dropout rate in South Carolina. So our project that we have been tasked with is to work closely with the school system to come up with an ongoing program to see what we can do to prevent children from leaving the school system and not necessarily succeeding. And I thank you.
Mr. Dunkel?
Good evening. Good evening. I'm Joseph Dunkel. I'd like to thank you for being here tonight to become an engaged and informed citizen. I'd also like to thank the Chamber and all the co-sponsors for organizing this forum this evening. I've lived in this area for over 20 years. I grew up in Port Royal, and I attended Beaufort County Public Schools. I have 2 daughters, Emma, who's 9. She's in the 4th grade and has attended public school since kindergarten. Her younger sister, Natalie, is 4 years old and will begin public school next year. This means that I'm personally invested in the public school system for the next 14 years. I've been a firefighter since 2005, and I'm currently employed by the Savannah River, South Carolina. I'm a graduate of UNC Charlotte's EMS Management Institute, a member of Leadership Beaufort Alumni Association, a member of the Beaufort Regional Chamber of Commerce, and for the past 3 years I've been serving on the board of directors at the Riverview Charter School, which is ranked one of the top schools in the state. In my tenure at Riverview, I've served as the board's treasurer, I've been the chairman of the finance committee, and I've been the chairman of the accountability committee. I volunteer at my daughter's school, and until recently, I was a reserve police officer with the town of Ridgeland. I want to talk about why I'm here tonight. Like Mr. Baker said, I started asking around town in June, and nobody didn't run for the school board or put their name on the ballot. So I was concerned for the same reason he was. So in mid-September, right before Mr. Baker announced his candidacy, after talking to my friends, family, and neighbors, and getting encouragement from them, I decided I was going to run for this seat. We'll discuss several issues tonight about our schools, but what I wanted to touch on real quick is even if you don't have children in the school district, you have to remember that schools are the nucleus of our community. The rankings of school and the performance of school have a direct impact on property values and the quality of life in the community. Great schools attract great businesses, which will further stimulate our economy and broaden our tax base. Why am I running? Well, first of all, the community has given me so much time, I've taken so much from this community, and I just feel it's time to give back. We have 21,000 students in this district, and of those, 75% will graduate on time. From 2008 to 2014, our number of students who have increased free or reduced lunch has increased 15%. In that same time span, our number of homeless pupils in the school district has almost tripled. We ranked number 42 out of 83 school districts in the state, yet we're one of the highest funded per pupil. Having worked in both Hampton and Jasper counties, I've seen what a low and poor education system does and what it breeds, and I do not want that in Beaufort County. In the event we don't discuss school choice, I do want to say that I don't think which school you go to, street you live on, should depend if you get a quality education or not. The district should provide multiple options for you as a parent to choose what's best. Thank you.
Now we're going to move on to the question portion, and we're going to start with you, Mr. Dunkel. First question. Education plays a vital role in business recruitment and economic development. What are some of your solutions and ideas to remedy school district funding shortfalls?
Great. So one of the things I think we need to do is look at how we spend our money. We have plenty of money, but when you comb through the district's financials and you see charges, purchases at such places as custom clean car wash, why are we taking our district cars to go get detailed? Other things is when you look at the purchases, when they're staying at Hilton's, Hyatt's, Marriott's, why aren't we staying at Holiday Inn? So let's look at those costs. We can cut the cost, first of all, to reduce the budget there. And then we also need to work to attract those businesses. We need to work with our chamber partners, both locally and at the state, to figure out what kind of employees our employers need to help our students become those employees.
Mr. Baker?
In the current climate, we're not going to change Act 388. So what must we do? Without more additional revenue, this is a business, and I understand business. So therefore, we must cut expenses. Expenses have to be governed by the revenue that we take in. We do not want to mortgage our children's future. So therefore, if we take a look by not cutting every program or not cutting teachers' salaries, but by looking at the overall money that we have versus the expenses, I believe we can live within what we do, because we do not want to mortgage the future.
Okay, and our next question is something that Mr. Dunkel just mentioned. What's your stance on open enrollment in school choice, Mr. Baker?
In 1776, America was founded on free choice, and I believe that's the direction that we still all believe in. We have a choice to pick where we want to work, where we want to live, and whatever each day we have, whether it's McDonald's or Burger King, we have a choice. So I think that every school system, to make it attractive so that our kids want to stay in the community they are in, is our first goal and object.
Like I said in my opening statement, I don't think that it should be based on your address. To me, that open enrollment means that any student in Beaufort County should be able to go to any school in Beaufort County. So if you live on Fripp and you want to drive your kid to Hilton Head, you should be able to enroll them in a Hilton Head school. If you look at the choice that the school district has begun to offer in the past 5 years, we've increased our school offerings to include IB programs, art and fusion, dual language immersion, Montessori, the Ames Academy, and then also expanded career and technology education. So the district is starting to provide those choices and open things up to you as a parent to choose where your child goes.
You know, when we talk about school choice, one of the big issues is transportation. A lot of parents want their child to go to a school that's out of their enrollment zone, but they can't afford, they don't have the time to drive them over there. Is there a way, or should the district make it a priority to provide that transportation? Mr. Dunkel, yeah.
Sure. When I went to middle school, I actually went to one of the first choice schools in Beaufort County, which was the humanities school on Beaufort, which was over on Burroughs Avenue. It's since merged into Beaufort Middle School. And what we had there was a hub bus system, so I personally would catch a bus from my home in Port Royal, go to Ladies Island Middle School, where I'd ride another bus to there. So we can provide transportation via a hub system. Within reason, we should provide transportation. The Fripp to Hilton Head scenario, I don't think that's a feasible or reasonable expectation. That's all we can have.
Mr. Baker?
I think it comes back to making the schools around you, for instance, Port Royal Elementary School. We have to make it more attractive by giving it the type of principal and leadership from Dr. Moss on down that makes it as exciting as the one in Hilton Head or St. Helena. And that's my objective, is to make it all equal. Thank you.
the ideal Beaufort County High School graduate look like to you? That's you, Mr. Baker, again.
A graduated person is one that has expectations. 18 years old is a tough time. You're making decisions, hopefully with your parents, but you can make them without them because you're considered legal. So with that said, your expectations is to go on to college, possibly to a trade school, or enter the workforce until you get a place in life where you know what you want to do. I have a daughter that didn't start, left high school, spent 7 years. At 25, she went back to school, went some online, also going, supporting herself, and is now going to graduate this year. So it takes time sometimes to make a decision in where you want to go.
Well, I think the first thing we need to remember is that we're in a global economy. So our high school students need to compete with students from around the globe. We have students from other countries coming to America to be educated in our fine education system. So we need to make sure that they have a well-rounded education with STEM, but also in the arts and humanities, to have that well-rounded. An ideal one would be nice if they were bilingual. That's always a benefit in this global economy. And then we also need to be flexible with their education. Not everybody needs to go to college, and not everybody needs tech training, but they should be ready and prepared to enter either one of those.
How important do you think career and technical education is to the district, and how specifically would you support it?
As a firefighter, I have only pretty much technical training, and it's done well for me. I went through tech school here to get my EMT certification, then I went on to get my paramedic. I don't hold a degree in anything, but I am a well-certified person. The district is really improving their technical offerings with the CAPE program. They'll be offering aviation, some nursing, and then at the May River High School too, they're going to be partnering with the Bluffton Fire Department to also certify juniors and seniors as an internationally recognized firefighter. So with that, they're going to be providing those, and I would just like to support Dr. Boston, his vision, technical training, and just continue with that. I think that they're doing a good job and they're headed down the right direction, so I just help support them with that.
Mr. Baker?
I believe technical training is an option that all high school graduates need to have that option. For instance, in the state of South Carolina, we are going to get 2 nuclear reactors. It's been 20 years since we've had any. And the only place in the world that you can get welding for the inside of a nuclear reactor is in South Carolina. China has ordered 17 special tubes made by Americans, made by people in South Carolina that graduated in South Carolina, that are doing welding in one of the most highly prolific exposures if they fail. We all remember 3 Mile Island, and these testings that these people are going through is huge, and they come from South Carolina.
We've talked a lot about economic development here in Beaufort County in the last few years, and we certainly know that businesses, one of the primary things they look for when determining whether to locate in an area is a quality workforce. Do we have workers that can do the job? What role does the school district play in making sure we have that workforce? Are they doing enough right now? Yes, Mr. Baker.
I think that we have to look at the whole of what Dr. Moss has brought to the table. As a school board, they elected him the CEO of the school district, and by doing that, his direction of trying to raise our scores and bring the workforce with the type of development and direction that we need to go, it's like a business. We can't from the top say, we're going to fix this thing and that person shouldn't have been kicked out. That's not the school board's option or direction. Their direction is to support Dr. Moss, support the teachers that we have hired, that we pay a salary to make sure that they succeed. And if they succeed, then our workforce of tomorrow and our children win.
The quality workforce, that when businesses are considering whether to move to Beaufort County or to anywhere else, one of the primary things that we're looking for is, do you have a qualified workforce that can do the kind of jobs that need to be done? Do you think that the school district is doing enough?
I think Dr. Moss is really starting to head down that way, the superintendent of the schools, and I think he's on the right path. One of the things that, I think about sometimes, if you think of the cost per pupil from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade, it's over $100,000 a year, or $100,000 through the time span that they're in the school district. We graduated 1,300 seniors last year. That's a lot of money, and we're really exporting them. So what I'd like to make sure that we're doing is having a quality student that attracts that quality workforce. And again, I'm going to echo myself that, like working before, but work with the chambers to make sure that we know what the businesses need so we can provide that. I hate to think that we're a factory, but our output does need to equal what they need. They are our customers. So.
And here's a question from the audience. In your opinion, what is the most important and urgent issue facing the school district? And this would be Mr. Trump.
Dwindling revenues. It's going to happen from year after year after year with Act 388, and like Mr. Baker said in the beginning, it's not going away. Our non-resident homeowners are going to continue to change to a resident status, so they pay a substantially less portion of taxes. So what we need to make sure that we're doing is attracting those businesses here so we can broaden our tax base so we can continue to sustain the same level of education that we're providing without increasing the millage rate year after year and burdening our non-resident and business owners who thus will leave the state. We're not coming to the state and then converting their properties to residences.
Mr. Baker?
I believe that we've got to work with the legislature. They're the ones that put the bill before us. I know that we as a state asked for it, but sometimes we have to rethink our decisions. And if we're going to rethink what direction that we want our children to have, and if it requires more money, we're never going to want to tax ourselves more by any means, but sometimes we must rethink what we've done for our future generations. So maybe as a county, maybe we can show the rest of the state that we must reverse something, that whether we believe in it or not, we've got to be there to support our future generations.
The school district has felt that they're not getting their fair share of state funds, and actually now has a lobbying firm that lobbies on behalf of the school district in Columbia. And there's been some discussion about whether that's appropriate to use public funds for lobbying. Would you support the continuation of a contract with a lobbying firm? Mr. Baker?
If I was hired by the school district, it's an interesting question. I don't have the answer for it. I've never had to hire a lobbyist to get work. So I guess in the manner of, I would have to look at as starting a new job, I'd have to understand the learning curve of what the question is, that if we're going to maintain this lobbyist or not, or how important it is to our county, and go from there.
Mr. Trumbull?
I think it's sad that we have to hire a lobbyist to send to South Carolina to Columbia to represent the interest of us as a citizen. And probably someone's going to fact check me on this, but I believe we spent about $25,000 on that lobbyist and got an additional $335,000. And like I said, someone's probably going to fact check me and prove me that I was wrong by a few dollars. But when you look at it from a business standpoint, to spend, or essentially getting $10 for every dollar we spend. So like I said, it's sad that we have to do that, but I would continue. I think that's the benefit of it is fruitful. So yes, I would continue to support it. Not to help their delegates in Columbia.
Okay. What steps should be taken in order to improve the quality of education in the goals of attracting families to Beaufort County?
Definitely need to have that quality system, improve our district rating. I mean, we really are improving every year. We're going up and up. If you read the news recently, you saw that overall B on the report card from the federal AYP. So that shows that we are improving. And then just with the technical training, Wilbraham Early College, those career offerings in high school attract well-rounded education, both in technical and college preparedness.
I would take a look at it from another standpoint of that are bringing these families to town, and what are we going to offer them? In other words, if the bases continue to grow, the F-35 was a wonderful win-win for the chamber, for the county, for the town, the city, everybody. So with those things said, those jobs bring in new people and new families, and what we have to do by open enrollment or choice or whatever it takes, bring up each and every school so that it feels like they're a winner too.
I think we have time just for one more question, then we'll do, let each of you do your wrap-up statements. There's been I guess the best way to describe this, maybe a tiff between county council and district over the county council not fully funding the school district's request, its budget request. And that has sent the school district back looking for ways to make cuts. Where would y'all look to cut if y'all are on the school board right now and had to make some additional cuts, big cuts? Mr. Baker.
There again, it would be a learning curve. I can't just say today we're going to cut 10% of the teacher's salary. That's not fair to me. I'm going to have to be on the job and look at where we can cut it, because you are going to have to make some hard decisions if we're not able to raise the revenue or the tax base for the school system.
So you can't think of any specifics right now you need to be on, okay? Jonathan?
I'd agree with Mr. Baker and say that I just need to get in there and go through the details more finite. Possibly, and I'm going to kind of contradict myself, hiring perhaps a comptroller just to more scrutinize those costs and question every cost line by line. That way we're making sure that we're getting the best dollar or best value for a dollar. So perhaps the issue would be to hire another person to just oversee it. And I hate to sound that's like a bureaucracy, a way to hire a person to watch ourselves, but I would have to get in there and see what's going on.
Well, thank you both very much, and we're going to do wrap-up statements right now, and you get 2 minutes for your closing statements. Starting with Mr. Dunkel.
Again, I'd like to thank everybody for being here tonight. It was a pleasure. As I said in my opening statement, I'm running for school board because I'm personally invested in for the next 14 years, and probably for further, because I've left Beaufort once for 4 months and came right back after it started snowing, so I'll probably die here in a long time away. But I'm personally invested. I just want to make sure that we're doing all that we can do for our 21,000 students. I want to ensure that they're receiving a top-tier education that's the envy of all school districts across the state, and that the businesses across the nation will see our top-tier school system and want to move here. We need to make sure that we're having our high school graduates are prepared for that 21st century global economy, that they're well-rounded, both in STEM, the arts, the humanities, and that they can enter a career either out of college with technical, or out of high school with technical training, enter the military, or go on to college and earn a degree that has a purpose, not underwater basket weaving degrees. But again, thank you for all being here tonight.
I thank you all for coming this evening. It's been a wonderful opportunity to be here, and I thank you for the time. And if you choose to hire me for the school board, I'm going to be there. I'm going to listen. I'm going to work with county council and try the best I can to move the school board forward for the future of our children. And you have to write our name in. I'll say it for Mr. Dunkel or